Hi there, my name is Maple and I have done a lot of different long hikes and I'm reviewing today what my base weight is and what I include when I pack. So to start, I'll show what I wear when I'm hiking and this is the same no matter what time of year it is, no matter which trail it is. First, I have my hiking pants and then I have my gaiters for my trail runners. I have my sun gloves, my sun hat, sun hoodie, a pair of wool underwear, a wool bra, and wool socks. My socks are custom. They have metatarsal pads that are custom made that are sewn onto the bottom. And then in my hiking pants, I always have a few things, and those include pepper spray, a knife, a small child-size hanky, and some lip balm. And then of course I'm wearing my trail runners and I'm always wearing my glasses. I'm also carrying my trekking poles, so I always hike with those. And that's everything. And then onto my pack here. This is a pack that has a 28-liter internal capacity, and I've got plenty of extra space in there. You can see I have it cinched down as tight as it goes, so there's plenty of room. It fits a bear can just fine as well. And then in the side pockets, I have two 1-liter water bottles. If I need more water capacity, I'll switch out my bottles or add some more. But 2 is plenty for most of the time. And then in this big outer pocket, the only thing that I have in here is my toothbrush. If I had to dry out some socks or something like that, I would put it in this pocket. So I've got my toothbrush, and then this is just a hanky that I use to keep the toothbrush from getting covered in dust. This upper pocket doesn't have anything. And then on the side belt pockets here, one side has my water filter and my 1-liter dirty water pouch. And then the other side has like hygiene type items. So I have some flossers and interdental brushes. I have toothpaste, I have a few hair ties, and a menstrual cup. So that's everything in my side pockets. And then with my pack, you can see it has these shoulder strap pockets. In this one, I have a sack that contains my stakes as well as my trowel. And then I also have my sunblock. Now, if I wanted to, I could use a smaller container of sunblock to cut some weight. And then I have my titanium spoon and my headlamp. And then the rest of the pocket space is empty to leave room for snacks and my trash throughout the day. And then back here you can see I have my sleeping pad. Now this is a cut down foam pad. So it's narrower than standard and it's also shorter than standard. It's 6 panels long, so torso length. And that's what I use for my sleeping pad. And then that's everything on the outside of my pack. So we can go on to the inside here. So I have my pot with my dish tool. This has my bivvy, my tarp, this is my fleece. Again, I could cut weight with this. This is a pretty heavy fleece, but it's what I had, so it's what I use. And bag of food. Again, I could cut weight with this if I wanted to. A grocery store bag would be lighter. I have a spare pair of wool socks. A pillow. Again, if I wanted to cut weight, I could have a reduction with that. And then this is my everything small bag. So in here I have sunglass lenses. I have my fake wedding band, power bank, some wet wipes, spare water bottle cap, charging cords, charging block, a pen, zip tie, repair patches, air tag, super glue, and then the rest in here is first aid and repair stuff. So I've got thread, needle, floss, tick tools, doxycycline for if I got a tick bite, some other medications, a glove for first aid, a couple tampons, just random stuff like that. And then is my quilt. This is my Nylofoon pack liner, and then my empty pack. My quilt, I sleep really cold, so this is a 0-degree quilt, that's down, 850 fill power. So it's not the lightest option, but it keeps me warm, and that's a priority for me. Last year on the PCT, I used a 10-degree quilt, and it had the cinch-in foot box, and that did not keep me warm enough on quite a few nights. So I got this new one that's a 0-degree, and it has a sewn closed foot box. And that's all of my gear. So this serves me well any time of year. This is pretty much what I used last year for the PCT, and I was on the PCT from March to mid-October, early March to mid-October. I had a few differences. I had a different pack. I've gotten this one since the PCT, and like I said, I had that other quilt that was the 10-degree with the cinched foot box. A couple other changes, but for the most part, that's what I used last year, and it worked excellent. I'll show a few things that I will switch out or add depending on the conditions. One of those is an ice axe, and you can see I have the tip protectors on there. I also have some cordage to use as a leash, so I would clove hitch that onto 2 of my pant belt loops. and then I have a little bit of spare cord to attach this onto my pack with some square knots. So that works really, really well if you need an ice axe. And then in here, I have my microspikes and snow baskets for the trekking poles. And then going along with that for Sierra stuff, I've got my bear can. So this is what I'd also use if bear cans are required, like in the Sierra. And if it's pretty cold, instead of that fleece that I showed, I would pack my down puffy jacket. And then for mosquitoes, I add my mosquito head net. And so that is everything I use, no matter which trail or which conditions. I will just add or switch those final few things in or out. And everything I showed that was in my pack is what I carry no matter what. I hope that helps you. Like I said, that base weight is a little bit under 7 pounds. And that includes everything except for water inside of the water bottles and the food inside of the food bag. If I'm required to use a bear can, I don't use the food bag. If I want more warmth than the fleece, I'll add the puffy and remove the fleece. And that's about it. Happy trails, and let me know if you have any questions. Take care. All right, one more thing. I forgot to show my rain poncho. So this is my rain poncho that I always carry no matter which time of year or trail I'm on also. And that was included in my base weight. So that's everything. Happy trails!